to be honest.
Yeah, that's the only kind of reason that why you can't actually, are you lazy to practice.
Main issue.
Yeah. What do you plan to do, Cindy, okay, when you graduate? Do you have any plans?
Actually, I'm not sure because
Sir, Nisha is here now.
You see here?
Nisha is here now. Yeah, she is on the list.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Chunpan, right? Anyone who want to further study, put in the chat box. After you graduate here, this diploma there, right? Okay, good, all right. Anyone, all right, want to further studies or do some work? All right, work, right? You can actually add those words like a W or word there, okay? Studies, okay, further studies. Right, if you actually plan to, right, Cindy want to go to works there, right? Yeah, okay, right, okay, good, right, okay. Get more experience, you meet more people there, okay. If you can actually apply what you've learned when you do those work, okay, it's more better there, okay. It doesn't mean that you have to do those illustrations, but you have a certain kind of options you guys can use, okay, to execute your what we call that, your kind of things that you're going to do there. What is it that Chunpan, right? This what we call that, the symbols there. But though you can start at McDonald's if you want to, Cindy, there, right? Or any kind of Chinese restaurant there, right? To meet people more. My first work basically at, I think, Pizza Hut, right? Those are my first kind of works there at Pizza Hut, right? So until today, I'm still love eating pizza. I had this plan to working there, right? But one of the reasons I working at that kind of fast food restaurant because I want to meet more people. I want to meet more people at that times, and I want to basically want to improve my kind of communication with the strangers there, okay? Those are the things that I actually plan, basically, why actually I'm going to work, other than I can try to learn to earn some money there, okay, at that times, right? But meet people basically is one of the most important things there. That's why I'm choosing basically the areas that I actually first worked there, okay, working there, okay, at Bukit Bintang there. They used to have a Pizza Hut kind of what we call that restaurants over Bukit Bintang. At the back alley basically is a Blue Boy kind of what we call that pub there, okay. But I never go there, right? But I heard there's a lot of transgender kind of gay kind of clan communities over there. But I never actually go to the kind of what we call that pub there, right? Okay? We kind of actually, right, stick to our routine, okay, working, and sometimes we eat actually, right, okay, beside of the restaurant, beside of there's a hawker store there, right, the stall over there. But normally I'm going to eat pizza, right, because we have that kind of privilege to make our own pizza, right, okay, on our shift here. Until today, basically, I love pizza there, right? When you talk about eating there, right? Other than other fast food restaurants like McDonald's and KFC, right? But it's a very good experience for youngsters, right? Some of my friends actually work at the hotel, become a chef or whatever there, okay? But I kind of what we call that love working with that kind of restaurant because I can meet a lot of people there. Because Bukit Bintang is a state of most of the international kind of people, okay, came over there, okay. So I have the privilege to communicate with the foreigners at the times. It kind of gives me more confidence, right? Okay, but that confidence level sometimes will be up and down. Okay, you cannot practice all the time there. Okay, to work on that. Even though when I want to communicate in bahasa, basically in this kind of communications, right? It's kind of awkward, right? If I work with daily kind of what we call that discussions, it's okay. It's look like very smooth there, okay. But when it comes to the camera, kind of what we call that conversations, like this one, if I convert into bahasa, it's going to be a bit kind of like weird a little bit there. Some of the words basically it doesn't actually well proper, okay. It's like I try to be more kind of spontaneous there, okay, and more subtle there. But it's a practice here, guys, okay. Same goes to you guys. What I'm actually talking about right now, okay, for this second session, it's all about the communications here. Okay, now talking about character design, or I'm going to take a look your submissions there, right? Okay, anyone who haven't submit your works for the first assignments and the second assignments there, first assignment and so the exercise there, right? Please actually put the notes there, okay, on the chat box. Who actually haven't submitted the works there? Oh, suddenly someone had submitted, right? Okay, we take a look at some of your works over here, like Nisia. Nisia, what is this, Nisia? Do you actually provide some of the what we call that progressions? Okay, as I actually have been show you guys before you submit your works here, right? The progressions here, because we have been working on for almost 2 weeks, right? For these assignments here, which is I'm actually find out there is no basically kind of pressures, right, in terms of working with your assignments for this semester, especially on my subjects here. So make sure you submit your works with the progressions there. This is one of the good examples from, okay, week6, right? He actually have improved a lot from the first submissions that he did. But he's not in your class, right? The good examples there, okay, how actually you can improve a little bit more further here. Cindy also haven't submitted that. So this is one of the good examples that you can see, right? Huh? Submitted there, right? Today, just now.
Oh. No, I did last week.
Okay. Okay. Good. Thank you. But what are the difference between this one and this one there, right, Cindy? Photoshop files or progression files there? Why taking too long there, Cindy? Okay, to draw and to improve on the line itself here. Guys, okay, please make sure that, guys, okay, please submit also some reference there. All right, okay, the reference, the progression of those reference there, okay, where basically you get this kind of ideas from, okay, how you actually compile all the subjects matters together there. So please actually make your submissions more properly they are done there, okay. Even though this is around what 20%, is it? It's very huge marks from here. If you're not actually apply in the right way, you might be able to have not get a very good quality of marks from here. Okay. So this is one of your friend kind of works here. She tried to apply back again, okay, some of the methods, okay, some painting kind of styles. All right. So there's a lot of way basically you guys can develop the kind of understanding. Li Xuan. Let me check back again. Right. Try to get what we call that some reference here, right, to present over with your works there, right? Okay. In Xiang also the same thing, right? Okay, you guys see actually how actually I prepare basically my submissions, okay, my demonstration to you guys, for you guys there. So make sure you do the same thing, right, okay, to present it your assignments, okay? Because if you applied, okay, this one and this kind of things there without having enough kind of improvements, okay, on the line works itself there, okay, I would say that, okay, I won't be able to give a very good marks from here. If for me, this kind of submissions, honestly, right, I will give around 5% only there, right? Without any kind of what we call improvement on the line works at the same times. Okay. All right. So make sure, right, okay, you work it well there, okay, when you present it back again your assignments there, okay. So same goes to this one there, okay. This one's from Li Xuan there, right? So the line work has to be improved there, Li Xuan. It's not in the you're not in the class, right? Is it? No. Okay. Group 4. In group 4. Can group 4 combine with this one, right? Okay, let me check the right game. Yeah, Beijing there. Beijing's here, right?
Yes.
Right, when you want to combine, right, okay, the line works there, Beijing there, okay, check back again. And the nose lines, when you draw, look like a muscles over here there, okay, with the nostrils, not basically the structures well there, okay. You might going to have, okay, some other thing that you have to improve on the line works. This one you can delete there, right? Okay.
Okay.
This one also you can delete there, okay. It doesn't look fine there. It doesn't look like you there, okay. That's the things there right now. And when you combine also with the background, it doesn't fit, right? It doesn't fit basically with the backgrounds there. So you have to do a bit kind of research. What kind of background basically going to be applied with this kind of illustrations here? And in terms of applying basically back again, your illustration, your submission for the assignments there, right? Guys, please check back again how actually you're going to present your works over here, okay, by using this kind of computers there, okay. I will show you guys one of the methods how it works there, right, using those kind of what we call that photographic reference. Is it? You guys can check also for my previous kind of what we call that videos there on my YouTube there, okay. Actually, I compile all photographic kind of reference together there. So one of the things that you have to remember, this is a thing that I've done for my friend, okay. So she's actually a doctor there, right? So what I did basically, okay, I combining those elements together there, okay. Some of the background, sometimes it doesn't have to be and illustrative there, right? You have to work smart on that. So what I did basically with these presentations, okay, and of course I'm using the same method that I actually showed you guys before, paint kind of styles there, but I mix around basically with the gradient map there, right? This one, okay. Then I mix around there with the tone itself, okay, overlaying to enhance it more on the colors there. Those are one of the things there. The line works, which is that you need to apply there, okay? There has to be consistency there. The thing that you saw from, right, paging kind of works there, okay? Consistency on the line there, okay? There is no consistency on the line there, right? Okay, that's the first thing that you have to remember. Okay? If you use the thick line like this, the outline for the body also has to be the same kind of quality of line together there, right? Okay, that's kind of thing that you have to remember there, okay? And the other thing that really important is when you want to present it, okay? I want to present this kind of works a bit more, what we call that, look more presentable there, okay? What are the things that I've done there, okay? Other than I just put some of the effects there, okay, on the source of light there. The backgrounds that I'm talking about here. Okay, let me give you guys some other glimpse there, right? This is the backgrounds that I get from the internet, okay? I get a few number kind of reference before basically I'm going to compile them back and compose them back there, right? Okay, into one compositions, and I kind of using a blur, radial blur effects there, okay? Radial blur effects there to give more kind of dynamic kind of approach from here, all right? But not too much. And then I'm using basically the gradient effects here. Oops, sorry. Okay. These gradient effects. Okay, the different kind of what we call that layers there, okay? This gradient basically is a very standard kind of gradients that I've used. I'm not basically using, right, these gradient tools over here. I'm using very standard kind of colors there. Okay, then I'm going to also multiply them to give a little bit kind of different kind of what we call that mode there for the color kind of what we call that for the backgrounds there. So I want to make the illustration more emphasizing there, okay? And I add a few number kind of what we call that glowing kind of brush effects, which is I already show you guys, okay? Using those soft brushes, adjust the opacities, and put into the more glowing kind of effect that just like breaking some of the lights okay, in the photograph you see, right? And then I put some glow effects using a very simple kind of methods there, okay? How actually I work on that? I'm using these kind of circles like this. I put some of the colors there. And just I'm using any kind of colors that I want there, right? For example, like this one there, right? So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go filters, blur, Gaussian blurs, see? And adjust that, right? This is one of the methods also we can use, okay? But see the flawless over there, right? Okay, what you can do, use soft brushes back again. Then I'm going to erase those parts there, right? Okay. And if I want to glowing back, okay, yeah, to give a bit kind of more what we call that mode and also meaning of these visuals, right? It kind of show basically, right? Okay, the the most important kind of meanings, okay, as the doctors, frontliners, there, okay, who actually faces all these kind of situations, okay, which is we don't have that kind of what we call that challenges, right? Okay, just want to give her basically a bit kind of what we call that supporting there, okay, on most of their frontliners, kind of what we call that communities, right? What we call that positive kind of things there, okay. So this is the thing that we can done there, guys. And I put a bit kind of overlaying from there, not much kind of layers there. I'm actually using 1, 2, 3 right now, 4, right? Glowing effects. This is basically the new one that I created just now there, right? If I find it quite very what we call that solid, okay, or opaque, right, okay, I will adjust a bit on the transparency. The opacity is there, right? So here's the thing there, guys, okay, presenting well basically your kind of way of working with your kind of paint kind of stuff there, okay. This is a painting style, okay, but we actually have done before also using the various type of styles in terms of working with illustrations. So that means there is no such thing that you can actually write, cannot apply the same thing. But of course, like Cindy said, all right, we need to be a little bit more kind of what we call that committed, right, with our improvements from here. Okay, now actually I'm going to work back again to our kind of lessons there. All right, any kind of questions on the applying photographies there on those illustrations? I have a few number kind of sample, which is hopefully I can share right here in my Google Classroom. Hopefully they have that, right, okay, because there's a lot of files over here. This is not the one. When you talk about sample of photographies, okay, right, same goes to this one, okay. This is one of the samples that I did a few years back using the photographies at the same time. This one, okay, this is one of the assignments that we did, create our own superhero based on our own self there. So I'm kind of using a sample of illustrations, sample of works. The background we don't have to draw back again. All right. To design a posters, like of superhero posters, like, to make it more presentable on presenting your works, and try to collect some of the informations like this when you present your works back again. And I kind of using different kind of approach on my design at the same times. Right, this is one of the samples that we did basically, right, what we call that back in the days with degree student, if I'm not mistaken here, but they have a very short sem at the time. You can actually check a little bit more further. But digital illustration right here. Is there any samples that I can use? Right, that's the background. Right. I have one particular illustrations that I did before. Which is I'm using a combination with photographies there, right? Okay, let me check on the photos here. This is one of it, right? Basically, that I use. I'm afraid I cannot actually save. I didn't save there, okay? Because most of the work basically in our lab, right? I think they actually have been delete all those works there. All right, this is some of the samples that I did basically, Rocky, back in the day. Try to get a very consistent kind of line works there, guys. Those are the first thing there when you design them. Okay, when I actually create this kind of what we call the composition, same goes what we did basically for the last 2 weeks. I kind of using the different photos of head and also combine with some other people's body at the same time there, right? So this is the things that you guys have to work first in order to improve your submissions. All right, progressions there. This is also something that I've done, all right, entirely, right, on the works there. Can you see there, okay, how actually I execute this kind of areas there? Also the hand itself, okay, I kind of changing the position of the hands. I not just try to trace them, but I try to make it more easy for me to show basically what people want to see, right? And this kind of hands, basically, I kind of cut a little bit and rotate and put it outside of those head there, right? That kind of what we call that adjustments that we can use along the way when it comes to develop our understanding of our own compositions at the same times. Same goes to this one there, right? Okay, different body, different people's there, okay? That's the things that we need to apply on our presentation for the first assignments. Make sure you try to capture any kind of understanding basically on designing those kind of illustrations here. Right. So let's talk about, okay, any questions so far? No questions, but the thing that you're going to do, basically, it doesn't felt like you understand. That's basically I find out from the submissions. All right, take a look here back again. And I design, okay, based on my sketches there, okay, this is something that we can do. Paint basically back again using these kind of methods. This is basically one of the traditional methods there on painting using digital thing. Other than when I'm using lasso all the time there, right? When I want to design those kind of illustrations. Normally, I'm going to use lassos there for these techniques. But right now, what I can see there, okay, I can actually speed up a bit more on my times like this by working with this kind of methods there. Okay, if you check look closely there again, how I actually solve some of the problems over here. I did not basically follow exactly what I want from the sketches. I kind of improvise a little bit. See, improvise a little bit there. But all this kind of knowledge you should gain while you develop your skills. You cannot be lazy there. Everyone is lazy, you know. But you have to know your kind of laziness in order to improve your kind of skills and invest your time here. Right? So I'm going to improvise a little bit on the hair at the same times. Right, I'm kind of using the same layers here. Maybe because I want to speed up a bit on my times. Okay, brush tools, back again. So we take a look at what kind of brush type that we can use over here. Am I using this one? Natural brush. Just a bit more like natural eraser there. This one, that's the colors there. So if you take a look at how actually I will use colors there, right? I kind of not using basically a natural kind of colors there. This is not black basically, right? It's more like a reddish there. See? Reddish a bit there, right? So what I can do from here, I will actually combine with different colors. Okay, take a look here right now. I'm not just simply paint them there, guys, but I try to blend basically. See, blend it up, right? You can get a different kind of mode from here. But there's a lot of brushes that you guys can use. This is not the only one that you can actually apply and use them. So the eyes, so I can draw make again basically the shadows there, okay? First like this. You can apply the shadows right here. You see that, right? Now I start to paint the eyes. I'm using this kind of methods at the moment because I'm going to synchronize with the first illustration that I did, okay, the character design that I did. Eye contact there, right? When they interact together, also important here. Then I'm going to put some highlights over here. The nose itself, so kind of using different kind of design again for the nose. Okay. Then I can actually use some shadows there. Bit over here. Then maybe I'm going to draw a bit kind of a line there, right? This is part of the styles of this design there, right? And then I'm going to start to draw the mouth there. Too dark. Okay, like this one there. The tongue. And also the feet there, right? There's a lot of way to execute. This is one of the way that I actually chose to work. All right, what's next that we can do? How about the beard there, right? An organized beard or not organized beard there, okay? Depending there, okay? How actually you're going to work on that. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to improvise a little bit over there. So the next thing is that I can do from here, maybe I'm going to improve a little bit more right here, there, right? Use the brush colors over there. I'm using Azola and put some sort of. Why are you using this kind of brushes? There's always have the reasons there, right? One of the reasons because I want to have this kind of curly kind of effects on the tone on the textures of my beard here, okay, my characters over here. See, you can mix them around. See the difference there, right? That's the beauty of it, guys. Okay, when we work with the creativities there, okay, not just applying whatever that we have if from that particular kind of tools, we kind of mix them around here. Okay, see that? So the body, right, okay, I can actually just paint, or I can actually using this kind of methods back again. Okay. right now, the trick is we have to use different layers. Otherwise, okay, the background, what we call the body there, okay, basically are going to be over these layers there, okay, because we use the same layers at the time, right? So the next thing is to choose the right colors for the shirts here, right? So I'm not going to be too fancy on the colors there, right, on the shirts. So I'm going to use gray there, right? And start to paint. You can add some shadows if you want to. Much. Use a bit on the flows. There. Simple kind of shadows there. The next thing is basically the legs. I want to improvise a little bit on those design like this. And then don't forget to add new layers there first, because I don't want to interrupt basically those layers of those body there, right? So the next thing is that I'm going to do, I'm going to design my hands. Oops. Flows there, adjust the flow there, right? So choose the right colors also are really important at this stage. By not actually just following the logic directly, but we try to adapt some of the methods right here at the same time. And I kind of like applying a bit on the shadows here. The next thing that I can do to mix around with the techniques here, right? I'm going to use outline for making basically those pants line there, right? The patterns there. See? Mix them around. Yeah. Right? How beauty is it, right? When we mix around together. And the next thing is I'm going to be those shoes. How I actually design the shoes. Sketch it out first and do some research back again. How people draw shoes there. So the shoes that I'm wearing, okay, I used to have a sneakers, not sneakers, right? A Converse. I still have here, but I'm going to use, right, a black Converse like this. And then the next thing is I'm going to apply basically those kind of detail. Yeah. Right. Simply kind of shapes over here. Some highlight a bit. And of course, it's time for me to work with the patterns. Like sometimes all these kind of things, people doesn't actually recognize them. Normal people can't recognize them, but what you can do, you as a designer has to make people recognize all these kind of details. Okay, that's it. A lot of things that we can do from here can actually improve more on this kind of shadowing, okay? To add a bit kind of shadows there, to add some depth of field at the same times. Okay, from here, some shadows line. Okay. The emphasize on the different kind of what we call that depths on those position of those fingers here. It can be. Okay. Small changes will make a lot of difference there. But it all comes from the practice. Come with the practice here, guys. It doesn't come easy there, okay? If you don't practice that. What else that we can do from here? Oops. Oh, sorry there. Okay. Add a line of those. What we call that? Ears there, right? This is the thing that guys, okay, that people doesn't recognize them, okay, when it comes to design those kind of works. Okay, about the backgrounds, okay. Don't be kind of what we call that easy way, okay, just to have the easy kind of path, okay, to design those backgrounds. What you can do right now, I want to make a very simple kind of backgrounds here. Brush. Right. So what other thing we can do from here? Come into adjust the flow back again. Right, to make sure that the line works that I actually the paint style that I use is not quite very opaque. I can actually remain basically some of the textures that I gave for this background here. Adjust a bit back again on the shadows there, right? Some of the textures line there, okay, for those styles there, for the brushes styles there, right? So what are the next thing we can do from here? Add some of the details there. Okay, box drawings. Now you can do add some of the details there. But I'm not using artificial kind of what we call that grass kind of brushes, but I kind of use this kind of method that don't take it too easy there, guys, okay, when it comes to develop your kind of detailing in illustrations. Use the tool that you have here. I'm using a very simple kind of tool that works, right? So if I want to mix around the grasses with the object here, there, right? Okay, the characters here, I can actually reuse this kind of method, that the layers there on top of the layers there, right? Same goes to this one, but it's quite risky there, okay, because I'm using this layer there, right? What I can do, I just add new layers there, simple there, right? So people, right, in design world, they are going to be notice all these kind of single details, but the layman doesn't actually understand that, right? Okay. What other thing that we can do also more from here? It's kind of like a decade there, okay, I felt like I didn't actually use this kind of styles anymore when it comes to illustrate my works, but it's kind of fun to share with you guys here. Okay, when it comes to experiments with different kind of brush. Okay, I actually use this kind of brush, but not the same brushes back in the day to work with all those kind of illustrations there. It kind of like very, what we call that, refreshing there, that I can share with you guys. But I'm not trying to add a lot of very, what we call that, strong kind of warm colors, okay, for the backgrounds normally. Okay, especially with this kind of illustrations there. Certain kind of illustration that we have to use a warm colors there to stand out the backgrounds, all the what we call it, the composition itself there, right? So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to redesign there, okay? I'm designing basically the backgrounds look like a bit more like a clouds there, right? See? More like a clouds formations. but basically it's a background here. So we treat ourselves as a designers there, right? Okay, as a designers there. And of course, this is the fictional kind of characters there, right? It's not actually were basically in my life. Okay, I just simply design them because I find out these characters is quite suitable there, okay? So now what I can do from here, I'm designing basically the background there, okay? So the background representing the emotions of the whole kind of compositions of scenario of these characters. Right, so what I can do right now then, let's just say I'm using soft, hard round brushes. A wet blender is quite nice there, right? Huh? Right, can we use them? Oh, this is only for blending there. Okay, I remember that, right? How about all paint? Quite nice. If I adjust the size, I don't know the right case. No, doesn't work well. So this is the experimentations that I actually have shown you guys here. This one basically for texturing, is it? Special effect brushes. This one. Oops. Oh. Oh, suddenly this is for what we call that. It will be used basically for retouching directly. This one, a different kind of brushes here, but of course, don't forget to add any layers there, guys. Okay, like this one, for example, there. Okay, if you want to try different kind of brushes, that works. Using these flat brushes there. My kind of main objective right now, I'm not going to use that one there, right? So what I'm going to do, I'll use this one, size a bit, charcoal. It doesn't fit there, guys, okay? So the artificial kind of what we call that arrangement from here, it kind of like this kind of brushes also doesn't fit for my kind of situation that I want to create, not quite suitable here. Okay. Not quite suitable there. Adding lay back again. So I think I'm going to maintain with the soft brushes, soft round brushes, but yeah, this is the one that I want. They're very basic brushes there back again there, guys. Huh? Very basic kind of brushes there. But I'm not paint everything in opaque there, okay? I kind of leave a bit kind of what we call that tone there, okay? From there. You see? Very soft kind of line works there, right? So we can actually add some of the buildings, maybe some of the flowers there. A lot of things we can do from this kind of compositions there. I have to close this one. It's not a model sheet. Basically, it's a composition of illustration where the character works there, okay? So if you have, okay, this is basically a concept design, a concept art design where we design the characters there, okay, for certain kind of situations. So before we create the model sheet with us, okay? So this is basically the early stage. Some people seems this one look more like a finished product, right? It can be, but for the certain kind of things that happens in our production works there, it could be a part of the way that we actually want to create an artist's impressions, okay? Before you're going to design the final characters there, right? Okay, this is one of the examples there, guys, that which we can apply when it comes to design our works at the same times. So you get to create a mood of your works there, okay? A mood there, right? Not a mood board. Basically, certain kind of what we call that mood to engage your ideas here. That's why when I actually saw some of the works from you guys who actually haven't complete, right? Even though you try to work with kind of like the submissions with the findings, reference all together, right? Okay. In one particular kind of presentations, okay, I want to draw some sort of clouds. I kind of feel a bit kind of off a little bit. Why? Because you spend too much time to complete one simple kind of task. Okay, the results that you can get it from there. Okay, I'm going to draw some cloud. That just now basically a sky there, right? Don't get confused. Okay, these are going to be the clouds there for these compositions. Very soft, light kind of colors there, mixed up together with a gradient kind of tone that I create by myself. See, guys? One of the way there, okay, for you guys to develop basically some scenarios there on your illustrations, on your characters there, before you submit the final submission, which is going to be the model sheet turnaround there, right? Okay, that we are going to go through in the next phase there, right? So we have around 3 weeks there, right, to work. So hopefully I can work on these characters back again. And of course, when you design the characters, make sure you feel good about it. Now, basically, I feel good about this design. Anyone feel good about this design?
Yeah, feel so cool.
Yeah, yeah. Those are the things that are really important, guys. Okay, when you design something there, please basically, okay, put your heart into it. Then you will feel good about it. Okay, you feel good about it there. Those are the things that are really important when it comes to develop your kind of way to develop your creative kind of process. Okay, so that's the things that you have to go through with it. All right, so it kind of like easy, okay, to see how actually I approach them. But the thing is, we go back into the first stage there, okay, research and planning, and create your own foundation on your ideas first by using your sketch. All right, so we go back into the foundations, which is this one. Sketch your ideas there first. I sketch a lot of ideas there before I finalize them, right? Sometimes, okay, I draw more than 10, 20 different kind of sketches there before I can actually finalize those kind of ideas there together. In terms of developing a styles, I didn't actually put myself to have a specific styles on my task, on my design there, right? But in the journeys that I find there, okay, I kind of like have a certain kind of style that I can use depending on the certain situations. Okay, that's the things there. Because when you actually develop a few number kind of body of works, okay, but my influence, yes, I get the ideas also from here, but I'm not copying exactly and direct that, guys, okay? I try to develop basically some of the strong features there. They can be more flexible for me to work on that. I want to complete this kind of visuals, okay? Sorry, guys, okay? The girl doesn't look a bit more like a very attractive kind of girl there for me to get it at this kind of stage. Yeah. So I think, right, you have to work back again on those design. So what you can do here, okay? So you have to be more precise, okay, on those design, okay? What you can do here, right? I'm going to, right, work back again. Visual, okay, to make the visual look more like a woman, like a ladies there. Otherwise, look more like a man, okay, because of the features there. So this part basically, okay, what you can do, Either you can add some shadows like this. Oh, sorry, there. Too much there, right? There. Add some shadows there. It can be. Same goes to a guy there, okay, because there's a shadow part, okay, between the body there, okay, that you actually can emphasize there, right? But those are the things that are really important when you actually start to work with it. So depending on the situations, okay, on the ideas that you want to work from there, and then you can actually cover with the line there, right? That. So those are the things that can be applied from there. And what are the things that we can do also from here? So because of the example on this part there, okay, what you can do is put some suggestions from there. What is this? Cover them back. So to make it more believable, okay, this part also the same thing, right? Human, okay, the guy kind of part, right? Okay? If you don't want to draw, okay, those kind of what we call that, some of the body kind of what we call that structures there, what you can do, you can add a bit kind of detailing like this one a bit there, right? Detailing doesn't have to be the whole thing, has to be look refined, okay, based on the structures, okay, but you add an extra kind of detailing that people doesn't notice, right, okay, normally, okay, but an artist as a designer, they notice all these kind of level of details. That's basically the beauty of the aesthetical values that you can add on your presentations at the same time. All right, those are the things that guys, okay, can be applied again. There are more things that we can do around here if you want to, if you allow yourself to break down a little bit there, right? Okay, some of the things that I can do from here, right? Highlights a bit. Some of the things that people doesn't recognize there, right? Don't realize that we can actually can do from there. I can even want to play more. I can draw a bit kind of like different kind of what we call that details like this, for example here. There. Yeah, people doesn't recognize the guys, okay, but as a designers and artists, right, if you have that kind of sensitivity to work on that, it will give different kind of values of your presentations. Trust me on that. The kind of values there. That's basically the quality of those designs that you can work out from there. Because character design, it doesn't stop from this part. Right? There's a lot of things that you can actually apply from there. Even though this one, there, right, you can see basically the thumb, right? And if I want to add a bit more on the details, like here, mix around there, right, with the different kind of lines, see? To give some indications on those details. It doesn't have to be the whole things, have to be details there, right? You can actually apply from there. Mix around with the line, with the shapes, and also the elements itself there, right? Okay? Any question that you have in mind? Any questions about the way we are going to create those kind of those kind of character design assignments? This kind of styles that can be fit also in AI, right? Remember what I did basically in AI, in Adobe Illustrators, okay, which is I already shared, okay, how actually I work with it right here.